Okay, we are live. All right. High raindrops. I cannot wait to talk about tonight's. He normally comes in 8 minutes late, no judgment. Okay, Brittany Jean, you may be right though, baby. Blessing Holly Favor. Carlos is midnight in London, and I got to work in the morning. Where you at? I'm here, baby. I'm here. All right. Anthony, what's your favorite summer moment? I think summer just started like yesterday. So give me up until my birthday's in October. So on my birthday, I'll tell you guys my favorite moment of the summer. I don't know yet. The summer just started. London has been fantastic, but that happened like days before summer. But it's been good. Mr. Brian Houston is here. Yes, Houston is here. And I know y'all met at Beyonce for bringing out Jay-Z and Miley Cyrus to Paris, and the Houstonians want to see what their queen bee is going to do for them. All right, Nate said Team Kelly's in the building. All right. LaCar said reading the new Kennedy Ryan book, and she mentions Love and Marriage Huntsville. Oh, no, I didn't know that. What did she say? Love and Marriage Huntsville. Where is that show? Oh my God, it's been forever. Thank you, baby. Ella Golden. Where is Huntsville? Daryl Norman, Team Kelly or Team Britt? Well, look, let's find out right now. This episode. Before I bring on Claudia and Dustin, let me tell y'all something. I have no idea how Claudia and Dustin feel about this episode. I watched the last 10 minutes twice on my TV screen. Last night, I watched it on the plane because I left my father's birthday party, child. Because, you know, low-key, my father's like my husband at this point. Pause. Me and my sisters, honey. We take care of my daddy. Anyways, so I'm on the plane. So I missed it live last night. So I'm on the plane watching the recaps on Instagram. I watched one scene 5 times on the plane. I'm watching that. Then I'm watching the game. Thank you, Brittany. He'll love that. He's a Cancer. He loves attention. No shade to Cancers. Y'all love attention. So I'm watching the Pacers play OKC. I was rooting for Halliburton for obvious reasons. And I'm on the phone watching the scene 5 times. Then today, I watched the whole episode. I watched that same scene 10 times. I enjoyed it. All right. So that's enough. Let me bring on Dustin and Claudia. What's for? Your mouth is full. What you got in it, babe?
Brittany's name. And it was dry and corny. Okay.
Claudia, you look good tonight.
Thank you, honey. Oh, it's so good to see you in DC. We call us you were missed.
Too. Yes.
I know.
Yes.
I was with my father yesterday.
We had a good time. I didn't get to go to Dustin's show because my show ran late. But I sent my girl, my podcast co-host Erica Cobb, she was texting me and sending me videos from the show. No gas, no fake news. She's like, he is so good. Yeah, all his topics were timely and good. The audience was so, and she sang your praises. She like loved.
Thank you so much. That's my girl.
She's like, I can only imagine the level he's gonna be on next year with this comedy thing. Like she's oh, I'm so mad I missed it.
I appreciate that. Thank you. It was good to see you and kick it with you. We did what was important. You know what I'm saying? So that was what's up. Hell yeah. Kicked it. So yes, that's what's up. Thank you.
It was good. No, I got so much feedback from people. So I will be at the Atlanta show. Okay. I get to see Dustin August 16th. So Raindrops, if you haven't purchased your ticket, please buy Dustin's live show. Tickets are on sale. It's at the City Winery in Atlanta, August 16th. I'm going to come there to support Dustin.
Can't wait.
we are going to have fun. So Raindrops, you may not know this. Dustin, as well as Claudia, Dustin is a comedian. So, but Dustin, I was told it's like a stand-up comedy show, like the days of like Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy.
Oh, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. It's like attending a stand-up set special. You know what I'm saying? Like the shit you watch on Netflix. Think Eddie Murphy Raw. Think Martin, You So Crazy. It's full of storytelling, impressions, narrative jokes, punchlines, all the things, physicality, all the stuff. I love it. I'm an old school comedian. It's dirty ass jokes, just good stuff. So you can go to DustinRossLive.com. Shout out to everybody that bought a ticket. We had a huge turnout in DC. Shout out to the Miracle Theater. They treated me so good. And everybody in the audience was lovely. Our producer, super producer, Lula was there, showing so much love. It was just a great night, and everybody can come fuck with it. We got shows in Dallas and Houston coming up July 2nd and 3rd. We're doing San Francisco in July as well. Then we're doing Atlanta August 16th. So all the tickets are at DustinRossLive.com. Come fuck with it. It's a good time. And Claudia was in DC looking good as hell. Bodied out, you know what I'm saying? Fresh off of your thing. How was your show, Claudia?
It was good because there were legends there, and we got to really we got to honor Melba Moore. We got to honor Bell. They sang. They was women in songwriting, and there were some legendary stories. It was really sad though. One part, one of the writers, Geneva Magnus, she gave a story about kind of making herself small as a woman in a male-dominated industry, and I was like, it really kind of got to me, like, damn, like, when's it gonna end, right? When is gender 12 men are responsible for 25% of all the songs out there. 12 men, that's humongous. So it's just still a really heavily male-dominated industry, but it was good to recognize these women. 12 women were inducted into the Hall of Fame, so it was really, really good. It was good.
Super dope. I love Melba Moore. She sings this song called Other Side of the Rainbow, and it's the longest note I've ever heard in my motherfucking life. For real. Melba Moore.
Yes, she does.
You know what I'm talking about, Carlos?
Absolutely. No. Yeah. We Michiganders, we love Melba Moore.
Yes, we do.
But no, Claudia, you look extra good tonight. What are you doing later?
Not getting any. But I don't know. I think things are gonna change in the near future.
Oh, wait a second. Me and Dustin in our group chat did not get any updates. So
no.
We will, because we're gonna pry and pride after the drafts.
I'm just speaking.
Get your story together now.
I'm speaking things. I just feel like something's right around the corner. I'm just speaking things into existence. Like there's no nobody. It's just
Good.
You look like how I look when I first start talking to a guy I like, and you get those butterflies in your stomach. Shout out to Mariah Carey and Michael Jackson, the songs. That's what you have a glow. Is it like no shade? I wanna know this, and we'll get into the recap. Is it Claudia on this high because everybody loves Claudia Jordan right now? I feel like this is no shade. I feel like this is your season because I feel like almost 100% of the audience love you.
I don't know about that, but
95, child.
Maybe 95. I'm cool at 75 solid. Maybe I don't know.
Okay. Is it? Do you feel like what contributes to this glow?
I've been asked about this for about a year and a half. I've been hearing this, right? One, I do think because I lighten my hair, it does make me look like more orangey tan. Okay, that's number one. Number two is I don't have no one's unhealed son can mess. Like no one's fucking me up right now. Like no
you don't
one
have that kind of stress in your life right now.
So for a long time, people saying, "Are you in love? Are you in love? Like you have a glow." I'm like, I'm just good. Like I'm happy. Like I laugh when people are in the comments. Oh, she's miserable. That's why she's jealous of Brittany and Portia and Fate, like insert any name, right? I'm like, no, I'm really not. Like, I'm really good. I don't have a man in my life right now. I did go play video games. I went to an arcade with someone the other day who I met was extremely good, fine as hell in person. But that we just went and played Miss Pac-Man and did some what do they call those cards? A bumper car.
Miss Pac-Man, did you eat them up?
Oh.
I did not eat them up, nor did I get eaten up. I haven't gotten eaten up in a long time.
Let him get down on it.
I do. when I do break this streak, you guys will know. I'll probably announce it on Monday Night Live.
Good. Congratulations.
You'll get the exclusive. But no, I don't have anyone. I'm not dating anyone right now. But I just feel like I'm in a good place. Like when you're in a good place, you feel like something good's about to happen. Yeah. I have a really big pitch meeting on Thursday with the big production company about a show. I got some things going on. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm trying to.
No, that's right, Claudia.
I'm on working out here right now. So.
No, you're working. Like I always said to you, and I said this last week, I said again, I am never worried about you. You're one of my girls. I don't ever worry about you. You will always be okay. And I do feel like it is sort of like the rebirth of Claudia. So congratulations. I do love the space that you're in. And raindrops, not to get all emotional and spiritual, but I want y'all to know this. And I'm gonna move on and we're gonna recap this show that was messy as hell. You get to see Dustin in his light, in his season. I feel like Dustin's having his best season too. To be able to go on tour and to do stand-up and to have sold-out crowds, packed houses, and to do what you love. The one thing that I want to say to that I'll move on to is the fact that Dustin has been at this for a long time, right? Like all of us has, and we'll get to Claudia too. So my advice to my raindrops, I love a Monday motivation, is everything is truly in God's timing. Just because things aren't happening on your timeline doesn't mean you have to give up. It just means it's not your season yet. And everybody in life, you have your season. The biggest thing though, when God gives you your season, you cannot F it up by thinking it belongs to you. Thinking it belongs to you, because it doesn't. God, you're borrowing God's blessing that he handed out to you, because God doesn't owe you nothing. So when God gives you a blessing, it's on borrowed time, because he wants to see what you do with it. It's equivalent to when we get a loan and you borrow money from your rich uncle or your rich auntie, child, and you don't pay them back. You're not getting more money from them. God, so the way God looks at things, all of our blessings are on borrowed time. And God is looking at what you're going to do in that season of your blessing so he can multiply it. Okay. And I feel like that's happening to Dustin. I feel like it's happening to Claudia. Claudia. Well, thank you. And I'm going through that myself. And I feel like, listen, what we're doing now is truly curated out of sheer friendship. This was not some sort of like organized situation. It was sort of like, let's figure things out. The funny thing Claudia has always said is, Carlos called me. Well, my sister. She looks at me.
Oh, it's his assistant. He don't call me. It's his assistant.
I'm talking about the stuff.
You call. You fans don't call people.
I'm calling on behalf of Carlos and Kingdom Reign. You'd be like, oh, okay.
Carlos calling me. I had a celebrity say it on me, and he said like not call himself, but he would like the phone would ring and be like his brother, and he'd be like, hold the line. Blank blank is on the phone. I'm like, nigga, you could have just called me yourself. Like, what? Yeah. That's Carlos right now. But go ahead, Carlos. Tell us life.
No, but I'm saying I thought it was funny because every week you would say, Carlos team called me again. I guess I'm back doing this. So anyway, my point in all of that is everybody should know when God gives you a good season, you'll feel it, but do not F it up, because your blessings are on borrowed time. And God wants to see what you do with it. And once he sees you cherish it and you're grateful for it and you're humble with it, he will multiply it. So there we go.
And let me say this before we get off of this, right? Kindness is very important too. I'm not going to say no names, but there's a person who's a part of my set, and I have a section of jokes focused on them. And after one of my shows in one of my cities, I can't get too specific, the staff came up to me and said, listen, that show was incredible. And my favorite part was when you talked about such and such. They were a fucking such and such when they were here 2 weeks ago. And it was a person who did not look like that person's audience. They did not look like that person's target demographic. They were speaking from their experience. So, the way you treat people fucking matters. You know what I'm saying? You have to be kind and respectful out this motherfucker. So that's all.
And since we're preaching tonight, I hit rock bottom like 3 times in my life right, like lost it all, where I like didn't want to live anymore, even had an attempt. I've talked about that and all that kind of stuff before. But like, I think it's as important, you know, people, it's easy to like go to God or be grateful or be appreciative when like things are rock bottom. Like, if you just give me this one thing, I'll be so grateful. No, you have to remember when you're at the top of your season, getting the most money you've ever gotten, when the phone is ringing, when everyone's fucking with you, you're getting all the invites. That is the biggest test of your character is when you are popping. It ain't when you humbled and broke down. It is when you're popping. And that's why I know there's certain people like y'all think I hate or I despise. A lot of my disdain for some people comes from, how dare you blow your blessing? You were blessed. Some of these people were plucked from obscurity, thrown on a reality show. You've never heard of them before. They get there and they become assholes to assistants. They're mean. They forget how hungry they were 1 year prior, and they just turn to completely different human beings. And I've been around, I'm proud to say, and this I can stand on, I've been around for almost 30 years in this business. Been on highs, lows, and I ain't never gonna treat a waiter different. I ain't never gonna treat a grip person different. I'm never gonna treat the person that's my assistant. You just can't be like that, and stop feeling yourself. I think it's just as important to ignore the praise as it is to ignore the critics, because you will find yourself being an asshole. And like, you gotta treat people right, and that's how you keep getting blessed. That's the force multiplier that you talk about, right?
Yeah.
Humble.
Yeah.
It's easy to be nice. Like, stop being an asshole, you guys.
Very easy.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. This was good. Monday motivation. Claudia, Dustin, and Carlos. All right.
Now let's get mean.
Right. Make sure I clip that and run with it. Okay. Let's get into this episode. A lot happened in this episode. I am so looking forward to Dustin and Claudia's thoughts about Kelly versus Britt, whose side they're on. But before we get into that, I do want to do I want to have some conversation, about some of the scenes that happened prior to that, okay? I want to get to the scene with Phaedra. One thing I know all three of us were asking for, because Phaedra is a peach holder after 10 days of work, which is a record.
Right.
Claudia had to wait 3 months, child, to get her peach. But
I didn't get a check all season till the night before the reunion when I signed my contract.
I know that.
That's why I was able to get 6 figures and not that 5-figure salary they tried to give me, and they give all the other girls. Hello, every single person before me that did their first season and took that 40,000. I said no to.
You
smart girl.
Not me. Thank you, Kenya, for letting me use your lawyer. Love him down.
See, you can lose. Obviously, you can borrow lawyers. Just do not borrow Glam. All right.
I knew you was going with that, Lowe's.
Dustin, I'm on your tip. Bang.
Uh-oh.
All right. So the moment we've all been waiting for, we got a chance to see Phaedra's personal story.
Yes.
We've been asking for it, and it's been delivered. And I do want to say this. Us saying this never had anything to do with Phaedra, because Phaedra does not control what gets shown first, right? So I want y'all to know that. We were now able to see some personal story. I really enjoyed seeing Phaedra as a mother. You can say what you want about Phaedra. It's all good. Boom, boom, boom. We have an opinion. One thing I personally will stand on is Phaedra is a good mother. And Phaedra loves her sons. And as somebody who has worked with her, as somebody who was there when Aiden and Dylan were born, I can say firsthand, I've witnessed Phaedra give those boys everything. And what was so interesting about seeing Phaedra as a mother, that is a whole different personality that I do wish the audience saw more. We know that Phaedra is coming back next season. She announced it on Extra. If Phaedra's watching or listening, or somebody on her team, hey, Glam, or the producers, I'll just say this. Those scenes, I think, does a great justice to Phaedra, because it allows us to see her rest in who I think she truly is, and that is a phenomenal mother. To see Dylan with the bell-bottom pants and being a designer, to see Aiden talking about, I want 10%, I'm gonna help you. Like, all of that to me was Black excellence. All of that to me, y'all know I love seeing rich Black kids. I just think I think we should see more of that. And I was 100% satisfied with that. And I would have personally love to have seen that scene before Phaedra went on the trip.
I'm gonna go ahead and agree with you. You know, I'm not the biggest Phaedra fan because of all the fake shit that I've seen, but I will say that made her likable. And I think, you know, she's usually kind of fake and rehearsed or mean, or she's doing it for a line. You can't tell me that when she teared up talking about how proud she was of her boys, that was fake. That was very real. And that's the first time I've seen that from her. And I was like, okay, this is why some people like her. Because when I saw that, I liked that. And I think when you can give us some of that, it makes some of the other bullshit more palatable. You're like, all right, we have balance. But when you always have that all the time, without this, it makes you one-dimensional. This made me say, it makes the other stuff a little bit more okay. You know, like, it's obvious she's a good mother. No, let me take that. Hey, y'all, clip this. I'm about to say something positive about Phaedra. It's obvious she's a great mother. The way those kids are well-mannered, handsome, they're ambitious, they're intelligent, they're articulate. Like, these are the signs of a present, good parent that cares about the well-being of their children. And I can't take nothing from her. I love seeing that part of her. That made me want to see more of her. The other stuff made me want to see less of her. But if she does more of this and makes some of the other stuff, you get more of a pass because you have levels and layers. I liked it. I thought it was beautiful. Beautiful.
150% agree. Something is wrong with you if you don't have a soft spot for children. You know what I'm saying? And these are kids that we have watched be born on television. You know, as viewers, we feel attached to these kids in an appropriate way. And it's great to be reacquainted with them, to check in on them and see how those boys are doing. They're obviously well adjusted, articulate, like you said, confident enough to express their needs and likes and desires. I loved Phaedra, them showing her putting together that sewing room for Dylan and his fashion affinity. I love that. I love that is nurtured. I love that his brother Aiden was so well adjusted, well spoken, getting on that mic, asking the crowd, how y'all feeling out there? That was so adorable to see. And it was good to see Phaedra being kind and softer, you know what I'm saying, around her children and showing some emotion and having something to say. You know, that was great to see, and I definitely enjoyed it. That was wonderful. And it was good to see that and good to be reacquainted with those children.
I'm just sitting here thinking, like, we never really see much about her real life. Like, outside of the breakup with Apollo, right? And then the kids, like, who are her friends? Like, does she have friends? Like, we don't really see we don't see a lot of it, is what I should say.
We haven't seen any of it because she was very guarded and boundaried on Married to Medicine. And just now it's been great to see her have something to say. She's made me chuckle a couple times, you know, and she's been quick.
What, Dustin?
Yeah, she's been quick. You know, I'm honest. I keep it real. I'm not a hater. I'm not a hater. She made me chuckle a couple times, you know what I'm saying? But it was great to see the focus shift from being mean, showing boobs and having, you know, an attitude. It was great to see the focus shift to, this is who I am. These are my children. I'm vulnerable with them in this way where I get emotional even speaking about how much I love them. That was some relatable shit, you know, and people like relatable stuff. Seeing her as a mom, there were plenty of other mothers and fathers and people who would love to be mothers or fathers, or people who just appreciate seeing mothers and fathers on TV that can connect with that. So it built a bridge between people who may be harboring resentment from old shit or whatever. It was a great way to be reintroduced to Phaedra. So I enjoyed it. It felt good to watch.
And I'm assuming Apollo must be a pretty good dad too, because they co-parent.
Yeah, you can tell.
I don't want to not give him credit as well. Like, I think those kids have great parents that love him, and you can tell they're well loved.
You can tell.
Yeah, no, I always tell people, look, I even say this about my own father. Who my father was as a husband to my mother is none of my business. Like, it's just in the sense of course, if he did crazy things to her, that's one thing, right?
No, but
yeah, that's one thing. But who he was as a husband, that's between he and my mother. Who my father is, the father is the best that I could ever ask for. And when I look at Phaedra and Apollo, I always say to people, if you only look at who they are as parents, I agree with Claudia and Dustin. Apollo and Phaedra are great parents to those two boys. And it shows in terms of who they are, how they show up. And I want to see more of that. I agree 1000% with Claudia that when you have a polarizing figure like a Phaedra, one thing that we always tried to do when we worked with her was show the balance. That's why it was important to show like her and Apollo. It was important to show Phaedra at the law office. It was important to show like other sides of her because she is somebody that is closed off and she reads. But
so does Claudia without even saying a word. But go ahead, Carlo.
I mean, Claudia reads too, but you know, I think it's important to. I'm not even looking at Claudia's face. I think it's one of those things.
I'm trying to behave so good today because I'm in such a good place.
Yes, no, I'm just saying. I think a lot of reality stars who are polarizing or villain-esque, I think it does justice when you're able to say, okay, let me let you guys inside my home so you can see me be this person. So shout out to that. I also think as we talk about personal story, I do want to get into Kelly's divorce. As you all know, we all love Kelly. Kelly's a fantastic addition to the show. Seeing her go through this process of divorce, and then when she revealed that her husband, her estranged husband, got locked up in jail for lack of child support. Okay. That is, listen, men, you have to take care of your responsibilities. It was hard for me to, this is the thing about Kelly's divorce story that is not her fault by any means. It's not her fault. It is hard for the audience to connect to a woman's divorce story when we were never introduced to the husband. We don't see the husband and we don't know anything about the dynamic of your relationship. I felt bad for what she's going through, obviously, and to know that the man never paid child support is terrible. All men should pay child support if you're not with the wife and you have kids together. But it is hard sometimes to be fully invested in a story like that when you aren't given a chance as an audience to a newbie who's you're getting the story at the end. When we saw Cynthia and Peter go through the divorce, invested. Nene and Greg, rest in peace, invested. Phaedra and Paulo invested. Portia Cordell, one season, still invested. It's the same reason we talk about Portia and Simon. Like, we weren't able to see Simon and Portia's marriage, you know, be on display for us to feel invested as much. So that's just one thing that I personally felt. It was hard for me to invest in it because I had nothing to work with.
I agree, but it's so interesting to hear you say that because for me, my experience has been I kind of felt for Kelly because we met her, you know, embroiled deeply in this divorce, right? And we get to see her be a hands-on mom to her daughters. We see how much she fucks with her kids. We see how much she cares about life in general, and she's still showing up, still fully entrenched in the fabric of the show this season, right? Going through all that shit at the same time. Every time she talks about it, she tears up. She has to sit down and be comfortable and be around somebody that she's really close to. And she talks about it. I felt for her, even so much that in that conflict that she had with Britt in this week's episode, I just felt like the way she was kind of staring at Britt, you could just see it all over Kelly's face, that it was bigger than just that argument. And it actually has made me feel for her, whereas normally I wouldn't give a fuck. What you just said would totally describe like my disposition typically as a viewer. But for some reason, when it comes to Kelly, just the way she's still been showing up and kind of soldiering through it, it's just all this season I've been like, damn, I feel for her because she's going through that other shit while she's doing this. You know what I mean? So it's just been interesting.
Yeah, and nobody babied Kelly. Like some people get babied and coddled and like, well, they're going through something, so we're not gonna. And no, she never got rest. They had to work for that 40,000. I'm just saying. Well, I don't know if it's the same rate. I don't know if it's the same rate. It's probably more now. But whatever it is, they had to they made no shade. I'm just being funny, but they really made them work. Like they made her work. You know, and that's something that can be very frustrating on a show when you feel like you're giving 100% in the scene. You're being vulnerable. You're allowing yourself to be talked badly about. You're the bone carrier sometimes. She had a trip at the first season, and then you may see someone else that's not doing as much, probably getting paid way more than you. That is frustrating. And it's frustrating. I'm just giving you like the mindset from a reality personality. When you do that and you're like, damn, I'm giving. I have nothing else to give. And then someone else can kind of coast through. Not saying it's one person in particular. I think there's a couple people that have done that. That's frustrating. And she's done it with grace. She's showed up pretty much, except this episode, the one event, with a smile on her face, kind of being chipper, being everything's cheerleader, little ball of energy. Like, I actually felt really bad for her in this episode. I was conflicted about the event. I know when I get to that, but I was conflicted. But she's been showing up this whole season. She has.
No, she has, and that's what makes her so likable just as a person. I really, 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 really like Kelly. Again, as we're going to talk about the season finale next week, so we're at the end of the season pretty much. I will have loved to see more of her work story. Again, before y'all go off, that's not her choice to what gets aired. What I'm saying is, I think the one thing, if I have to do a grade with Kelly, A+ in terms of star power, A+ in terms of personality, A+ in terms of presence. I would have loved to see more of her work story this season. Again, not her fault, I'm sure, but I would have loved to see more of that. She's also a great mother. I love the relationship she has with her daughters too.
That confessional this week when the twins came
in and kissed
her cheeks. That's the shit that ties the viewers in for the life of a housewife, right? When you see moments like that, you never forget that. I'll never forget them twins kissing her on the cheek. Have a good job, do a good job, mommy, or whatever they said. That was adorable, so adorable. So
yes. No, Kelly's a star. I'm happy that I started the season off loving her, and I still do. So, congrats, Kelly. Congrats.
Well,
Kelly.
we have one more episode, and a little birdie told me that we're gonna be gagging next week
with Kelly.
Well, I don't know. I got it narrowed down to 3 names that did something really, really shady, and she's in that group, and I hope it's not her.
We're gonna get to that because Claudia, listen. Okay, so Range on
as a former journalist. I'm gonna get my catchphrase back, goddammit.
No, some things were said that I was like, but we'll get to that in a second. Okay, I do want to get into the scene between Britt, Cynthia, and Portia. It was a big deal to see Britt's house. Not for the audience, for the ladies. It is under construction. That's
Detroit. Shout out to Warren Autry. That's Detroit in the house right there, representing like that in our comments. That's what's up. Yeah, shout out to you, Warren.
Aubrey.
Yes.
Shout out to you. Much love to all 3 of you. Keep doing what you do. Thank you so much. Britt's house is under construction, and it was shown with the plastic on the side. That means renovations happening. The other room had tons of boxes and clothes on the flow child. That shows package. So what we are seeing is the fact that I now understand why she did not want them over, because she is clearly under some form of renovation. But Cynthia and Portia did show up. They came over. And in this scene, Britt doubles down on what is going on between her and Kelly. She did reveal that the issue is over Glam, which to me is like, okay, we kind of knew something was like that. And we'll get into that in a second. But I want to talk about this because I don't feel like people caught this the way I did. Portia and Cynthia come over. They're asking her, what is going on with you and Kelly? She talks about the Glam issue as what's dividing her and Kelly.
I know what you're about to say.
Okay. Then we talk about Shamia. Well, she's close to Shamia. Okay. Not sure why Shamia's name being brought up, but I digress. Then Britt feels the need to expose Shamia out of nowhere. Shamia's catching a stray, and she tells Portia, oh, and by the way, Shamia showed me text messages between the 2 of y'all that y'all had where she was talking about you in therapy and all this other stuff. And I'm like, Britt, and this is me being honest, I'm gonna keep it real. That scene felt set up to me. it felt like the intention was to expose Shamia. It
100%.
It came out of nowhere.
Not really though. It didn't come out of nowhere, Los. It came out of Grenada, and it actually came out of before they left for Grenada when they were in Atlanta, and that whole kerfuffle about the donations and Shamia telling everybody on the trip that Britt had only donated $250 and she never returned with the truck that she promised. Britt was angry about that. She didn't appreciate it being mentioned at the table. She didn't appreciate the conversation being had, and at that point, she had her target on Shamia. So of course, when she has these women over to her house, which she didn't want to do for whatever her reasons were, she was going to take the opportunity. They came in, Cynthia and Portia came in and started a conversation basically about what was going on between Kelly and Britt. Britt was like, okay, but what I'm going to do is pivot and plant this seed that I already know will germinate because Angela planted it earlier. Right? She identified and highlighted the wedge in between Portia and Shamia. Britt knew it was a successful play to enact, and so she went straight for it with a pivot. This was one of the first times that we saw Britt actually embodying what housewives do, right? Which is manipulating conversation, making pivots that will be impactful to what happens next. That's what she did. She took advantage of the moment, and Portia fell for it. That's why she was playing with her hair. She looked gorgeous in that Dolce & Gabbana rose printed set with that headband on. Portia looked beautiful, but you could tell she was like kind of thrown off by Britt saying, hey, I saw these text messages, or hey, Shamia had this conversation about you behind your back. It worked. It kind of threw Portia off base a little bit, and that was her goal. So it didn't feel displaced or out of nowhere to me, but I can understand why you would say that.
Yeah. Go ahead, Claudia.
Clip this. I'm about to say something positive about Britt. This is the best she looked in all the episodes with that short hair, the bob, and all that.
Yes.
Pretty. Her face is the best her face looked. She looked great. And I was like, okay, because all the other episodes when she was telling us how pretty she is and how everyone hates her, it's so hard to be Brit Edie because ever since she was a little girl, everyone was so mean because I've never seen so beautiful in their lives. So life was just so hard for her because all the girls just wanted to like take her down because they just couldn't understand her beauty. I wasn't seeing it. But this episode, I'm like, oh, she's cute. She's cute. She looks pretty, actually. Now, Brit Edie, shut the fuck up with your bullshit. You start the scene complaining about Kelly having the nerve to talk badly about you to her Glam, which is her psychiatrist. That's what Glam is, okay? They're our psychologists. They're our confidants. We tell them everything. They hear us. They look over our shoulders when we're on our phones in their chairs. They see who we're talking about. They know all of our business. So it is perfectly normal to talk a little shit about how you feel to your Glam. Now, did Kelly overreact by saying shut it down? Some people could say yes, some could say no. But it is annoying. Now, I think this is where Britt was hypocritical. She says that Kelly's idea, she insisted that Britt use her Glam, but she's insecure. An insecure woman is not going to lend you her Glam. An insecure woman's going to say, oh, my people are booked. They're really expensive. They're not going to say, yes, let's share. And I'm not buying her reason, because Kelly needed a +1 or she's scared to be by herself. Everyone likes Kelly. Nobody likes Britt. Kelly has options of people to go out with. Britt, you do not. Now,
no, that's not what she meant. She meant Kelly wanted to be. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
the number one.
The best looking person. Right. She wanted between the two of them. She didn't want to be number two. Yeah,
I get that too. But remember, she said that she needed a sidekick. Okay, so so she's so angry that Kelly committed this violation of talking about her to her Glam team. Then the very next breath does exactly that times 10, being a messy bitch. You threw everyone else under the bus, and you did way worse than what you were mad at Kelly for. And you couldn't be there for your best friend going through a divorce over a Glam argument that should have been a 5-minute conversation. Look, bitch, I just don't like it. I feel like true tea right here. Me and Demetria. Everyone knew I didn't have a stylist on Real Housewives of Atlanta. I didn't care. I was wearing my Forever 21. And if I want to get dressed up, pink boutique from London. If I want a little $80, $90, $100 dress, I was to pay for my Porsche Panamera and my expensive ass high rise I was in. Okay, I wasn't spending much money.
Simone, yes.
I just buy blue buttons on Housewives, and I still have them. Okay, So I remember, Demetria, don't be mad at me for telling the story, but it's the truth. So when we went to Fashion Week, she loaned me Dallas, her stylist.
Shout out to Dallas.
Yes,
Love
he
Dallas.
put some looks for me together, and I could tell one of the looks that was real cute on me. I don't think Miss Demetria, I think she was like, oh, and she said something like about that would have been a look for me. And at that moment, I knew, all right, she, it's annoying because it's my friend, but I get it. Like, you want your stylist to say, I want you to be the baddest girl there. So your team is leaving and then going to the next person. He's having the same conversation with her. Plus, Kelly's at a disadvantage. Kelly's 5'3", Britt is like 5'8", 5'9". Even if they do their best styling work, it's not gonna hit the same. It's gonna. I'm sorry, Kelly, you're amazing. But
I'm sorry, I couldn't hold it in. Clock it.
It's just by just body type. It's just gonna look more fashion on Britt, no matter what. So, but I can understand why she was irritated. I also, in a way, could understand why Britt would be like, "Well, you're the one that suggested it." But Britt, I don't think she thought giving her glam was going to be for every day, and then you taking the photographer, the makeup artist, the video, like everything, like use them, and then to get on your feet, and then get you somebody. So I think she violated. She did the same thing. She did worse than what she was mad at Kelly for, and it's a fake beef. It's corny.
But to your point. Oh, go ahead, Dustin.
No, go ahead, Carlos. Go ahead, because that's a follow-up.
Thank you, Claudia Jordan.
You're welcome.
I tried to tell the girls last week. They said, "Girl, shut up." Listen, I'll go further and say this: in Black Hollywood, when it comes to scripted actors and actresses, let's stick with actresses. Obviously, when it comes to the actresses in Black Hollywood, they do share the same glam. There's a wonderful hairstylist named Larry Sims who does Gabriel's
my friend.
Phenomenally, he is. Shout out to Larry Sims. He's the GOAT. There's a stylist named Jason Bolden who styles everybody, right? You can share the same glam in that regard because we're all getting dressed for different events, hey Tisha, and we're not all on the same gig. We're all just being styled for the Oscars. But like Claudia said, body types and based on style and taste, we're all gonna look different at the end of the day. The difference is this, and hear me loud and clear. When it comes to reality stars, females, they're not sharing the same glam. And I'm going to tell you the difference. No. The difference is you're on the same show. We are together for 3 months. I'm going to tell y'all something that y'all may know, but I'll just tell y'all anyway. When the girls get dressed, they all size up each other and say, okay. And then they also, all the girls have a group chat. What are you wearing? What are we giving? Because you don't want to be overdressed doing the most, and you don't want to be underdressed doing the least. So a lot of these reality girls are on group chats. Girl, what you wearing today? What look are we giving? That's what they do. Nobody on reality television, 99.9% are sharing the glam for the exact same reasons Claudia said about Demetria. Again, it's no shade to Demetria. It's more so like, that outfit could have been for me. Or, wow, she's looking better than me. The thing with Britt that I clocked instantly, and no shade, I'm going to say this. I don't think it's Britt's fault. Britt has this, and I'm going to fast forward the comeback because I can't help myself. Britt, look at Phaedra's event. I have never... Britt, Britt and that
she literally looked perfect. It was perfect.
She did.
Perfect.
Britt has never looked better.
You see them sandals? Did you see that sandal she had on? My nigga, like Britt been dressed. You say what you want to say, but she been dressed.
The Ace of Mystical, she had one thing cut out here.
It
was the bob was the length of my beard. Okay,
it wasn't folded under. It was a blunt cut. It was really well done. I give the bob a 10.0 on the bob chart.
It wasn't folded over. Now, under. Now I'm gonna say this. I don't know Britt. I don't know Kelly personally, but I got eyeballs, and I've been doing reality TV for 17 years, and I'm gonna say this. I do believe that Kelly saw what the glam was giving Britt and said, okay, y'all doing too much. Like, okay, that y'all doing too much. Y'all belong to me. So come back home. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know this for a fact. I'm pretty sure maybe some or all the Glam probably said, but look what this bitch is giving us to work. I'm just saying, it could be. It's
well, I guess I'm different. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. I'm just not like that. If I can't nobody do what I do. You know what I'm saying? Just like I can't do what nobody else does. So I would not like if me and you was going to the Image Awards, Carlos, Claudia, we had a great time at the Image Awards together. Yes, say me and you was going to the Image Awards, Los, and we was both being styled by Jason Bolden, right? I wouldn't give a fuck. You gonna look good as fuck in whatever you put on, and I know I'm gonna have my shit on. I would not care. So
but in our defense, and guys, I just gotta say this to Claudia, being the only woman here, stop me if I'm wrong. Dustin, on some real shit, I think there's two differences.
Okay.
We're men who are not on reality. I think it's one thing that Lisa Wu Hartwell, formerly Hartwell, said season 1 to Deshaun Snow. She said, when women get dressed, women don't dress for men, women dress for other women.
We do.
Well, I feel you, but I just don't. When it comes to, you know how I am. When it comes to jealousy, that type of shit.
But you're a confident man.
That's a boundary for me. The minute I smell a hint of resentment, jealousy, any of that shit, the friendship is over. We just associates basically at that point. But so I wouldn't have had no issue. But again, I'm a guy. Maybe the rationale is a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? So I respect the room for people to have their own feelings about stuff. But I just don't like none of that shit. Do your thing, but do your thing. Just because you're good at your thing don't mean that it's going to negatively impact me. I think it's actually better if we both doing our damn thing. Like that's the energy I be on. Let's all be out here getting it. So I don't know. I'm just
because you have confidence, and half this cast doesn't have confidence. They have fake confidence. The ones that are usually loud and mouthing off and trying to have a moment usually have the least amount of confidence. Even if they look stunning, they still don't have the confidence. So there's going to be an issue. I think, I didn't like seeing Kelly like mad about it, but I understood it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because I knew people were going to come for her like, oh, she's just jealous because Brit looks better or whatever they're saying. I mean, but it does suck when it's your idea to share your people and then you feel in your mind that, damn, they kind of doing their thing with her and I'm not really getting that same. Because there's a couple styles that I've used before where I feel like they do really good work with other people. But when it comes to me, they be putting anything on me like, she ain't used to nothing. You could just give her. I'm like, give me the same package you give. Like, stop giving me the bullshit. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like Cinderella upstairs trying to sew a dress together with mice helping me and random buttons and ribbons and shit. But then you go all out and give Met Gala to the other people. Like, I get it because I get that happening to me a lot. I think because people don't associate me as one of the fashion. I know I'm not one of the fashion girls. Let's be very clear. Y'all don't have to remind me. I know this. So they think they'll be happy with anything. So it does feel like shit when you're like, damn. Actually, the BT Awards, I felt like me and Annie went and she was flawless and I didn't feel good about myself. I wasn't mad at her though. I wasn't mad at her.
That's my point. You might not be. To me, it's just the comparison dynamic is just toxic to me in friendship. Now, if we're not friends, then fuck it. You know what I'm saying? But if we're friends, that's toxic to me, which is why what I saw take place at Phaedra's event between Britt and Kelly completely blatantly identified the fact that they are not friends. You know what I'm saying? And they were never friends. They have never been friends. And that is why it was much deeper than just a stylist, giving attention to them both. It was more than that. That's why when they started to engage, Kelly really wasn't engaging. Remember, she literally didn't even speak back. She just kept her head turned, and the look on her face, I've been alive a long time, and the look on Kelly's face read to me as if today is a day I'm already going through XYZ. I really don't even want to be here right now. I'm not even going to engage. And she turned her head, and then they continued to go, and then the shit came out. I don't feel like Kelly was really present in that argument. I feel like Britt ate her alive in that argument. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that Kelly is a person who has trouble finding her way with words. So I just think there was something else going on that day in that moment when they were shooting that scene that affected what we ended up seeing, because that was not the same Kelly that we've seen all season long. And I just feel like she looked like just removed from the situation. Something was going on.
You know what? I think probably she was going through that. I don't think it went, the divorce situation. She's been wanting to get a divorce for a long time. It got delayed again. She's probably sick of this annoying ass motherfucker. That's her ex-husband and wants to cut ties. And then the girl that you kind of like was ride or die with for a while until you got off the sinking ship, Kelly. You had her back to your detriment in the beginning. You had her back, and all you wanted, like these girls you barely even know, Angela Oakley, that you don't even hang with like that. All the other girls were checking up on you, and the girl that claimed to be, y'all had some kind of pact to say y'all were besties, whatever, did not come through for you because she's mad about a Glam argument. Like, yeah, the Glam thing, you can say, all right, Kelly, maybe using your feelings, maybe you were wrong in that. But damn, I would think, okay, be mad at me over something small, check me on that. But then the big things in my life, a parent dying, a divorce, a sickness, that you would overlook the bullshit for the bigger stuff. Don't like, especially like Kelly said, when I brought a whole IV therapy, session to your house, I did this, I did that, I did this, and I couldn't get a phone call when I'm going through a divorce, but these girls I don't really know are calling me. Hell yeah, she's an event. I would have sung her too at that event, like, you want to talk to me? Because then you could tell, and when a bitch knows she looked good, right? So she came in, I'm talking about Brit, she came there, and she was very antagonistic when she said her hello to Kelly. That's not how a real friend. Yeah, she was like, hey, Kelly, and she was trying it. I would have slapped the shit out of her right then and there. If that was my fake ass friend, you already didn't check on me. That would have been enough because she was trying to antagonize her with that.
I didn't even think. Okay. That is interesting. That's why I'm glad we get these different perspectives. I didn't think about that until you said it. Britt, and we'll get to the Charles, Angela, and Marcus thing too, but let's just go with the flow with this conversation. So at Phaedra's event, what we're talking about now is how Kelly and Britt read each other. So Britt walks in. Britt, if you're watching or you're Glam, 10s across the board. What Britt did in this looked amazing, and it's the reason why I told y'all in the first episode. I said there is something about Britt, not Mary, that I like. There's something about her. It makes me sad that we're not going to see her on the show anymore because I felt like Britt. Again, if you're watching, I don't know what happened to you. I'm not here to talk about that. I wasn't there. But what I will say as a viewer, this is only me speaking as a viewer. This episode made me want you more on the show.
Really?
I'm gonna tell you why. It was because the thing is this: when I first saw Britt pop up on the screen, I said Miss Mama has a spice to her that I think is very delicious. That I'm just curious what it is. That's why I felt like Britt, you're better than the shade she was giving Kenya. Because I'm like, I feel like you're trying too hard. That ain't nothing to work with. And I thought it felt flat. But when you're having an issue with your girl, that's when your real attitude comes out. And that's why this episode, I felt like episode 16, Lord Jesus, was the first episode where I got to know the real Britt. Whether it was cute or not, it was who she is. And that's why I don't judge reality stars. Just be you. You're right, Claudia. I didn't think about this. Britt came in knowing her shit looked good.
Yeah.
And she knew like, bitch, I use your glam to look like this. And
I'm gonna fuck with some shit and make you mad. That's what she came in that with that vibe.
It's kind of like when a girl gets dressed up and she knows that her ex-boyfriend is going to be there with his new girl. And you sort of walk in and you say, hey, you good? Hi, I'm Claudia Jordan. And you walk away because you want the girl to know, bitch, this is what your man used to have, but I digress. So I love Kelly. I was surprised that Kelly was passive aggressive. Kelly, I love you, baby. You were passive aggressive. And when Britt clocked in and said, it's aggressive, no, you're passive aggressive. Kelly's like, no, I'm aggressive. This is subtle, Claudia and Dustin, but this is when I screamed and ran away. Britt stepped up to the girl and said, really, you aggressive? I've never seen it. That alone, Claudia, Dustin, the fact that she walked 2 feet in front of her gave me everything I needed to know because Britt was like, bitch, you're capping and I'm going to show it. And when Kelly made the comment about your pill popping roommate, which to me, and I would love to get y'all thoughts too, obviously, meant to me two things. I'm not going to say the second because I'm not here to do that. But I thought two things when she said Britt's husband's her roommate. The second one, I'm not going to say. The first one was, y'all not really married. That ain't your husband. That ain't your husband, boo. Stop it. And y'all do pop pills. When she said that, and then Britt gagged for 90 seconds, and then came back and said the word about the abortions, I would love to get y'all thoughts on that. I'm being honest. I'm all for shade. I don't like your mama jokes because I feel like that's too far. Other people like it, and that's fair. There's something about shading a woman who had an abortion or abortions that, to me, this is just how I feel. I felt like shading somebody that had an abortion, to me, is very low because I know how difficult it is for a woman to decide to do that. Other people may agree and say, you can call me a pill popper and I can go to hell with you. I get that. I'm just saying, for me, I felt the abortion thing was too low.
So let me, I had the same reaction as both of you. And I just want to jump in before we go too far with that argument that it was that Britt's husband she was talking about. So I thought that same thing also. And then I called one of the housewives up.
I didn't think that.
She was talking to Phaedra.
Yes.
She said to Phaedra, you need to, because Phaedra's trying to calm Kelly down. And Kelly said,
yeah,
you need to talk to your pill popping roommate, meaning Britt.
They were roommates on the trip.
Yeah.
Oh
shit. I had it in my notes and I was like, oh my goodness. But she was talking to Phaedra about Kelly. So she was calling her pill popper. I thought, because at first I was like, she didn't call her pill popper, but she was saying pill popping roommate. But that would explain the erratic behavior.
You are a current journalist. The job well done.
I never thought she was talking about her husband. I was following the volley of the conversation and I saw Phaedra, in the middle or whatever. And I never, it never crossed my mind to think about her, that she was talking about her husband. Never, until you just said that. I always knew it was Phaedra. So that's crazy to me because you guys obviously aren't alone. It was probably a bunch of people that thought that.
Yeah, they're saying in the chat right now. They said that some people thought.
Let me tell you this.
Yeah.
Their relationship changed when Kelly and Shamia got close in real life. I've seen them at a club together in New York City. They hanging out big time outside of the show and taping. Kelly and Britt had whatever pact they had to be besties or whatever during the season. And what happened was Kelly picked Shamia. Kelly and Shamia got close for real. And when they was in Grenada and that shit went down about the donations, Shamia had Kelly support at their table. Kelly even said something about the donations or whatever that kind of was identifying, Britt as a person who didn't donate right. And I believe that was the fork in the road for them. Ever since they was at that table in Grenada, they've been off. And Kelly sided with Shamia in that conversation. They've been off ever since that point. And they did not talk from Grenada all the way until I love Shamia so much, but she's not the best person when it comes to acting in the scenes. Because when she asked Kelly, like, so you haven't talked to, when's the last time you talked to Britt? You haven't talked to her since Grenada? Wow. She ain't talked to her because you and Kelly been talking. And that she hasn't talked to her. And so that's been a thing that was brewing between them. They weren't speaking. And so maybe that shit did start coming up, the resentment about the looks. And maybe that was the motivation to be looking so damn good when she showed up like that. Maybe so. But their shit broke right there at that table in Grenada. That was the line that was crossed. But the closeness between Kelly and Shamia in real life, they friends for real. In real life, they hang out outside of these cameras to this day. And that is what drove that rift between Britt and Kelly. That's what happened.
I watched that scene maybe 5 or 6 times. And I was really, really triggered by it. I really was triggered by it. I mean, it really, really bothered me because anyone who's ever had somebody close to them betray their trust and tell something that is so dark. I don't even know if it's a true read or not, the abortion thing. That's neither here nor there. But the fact that a woman would use that against another woman when so many women have had abortions, when so many women have had problems with fertility, when so many women have experienced that, and to sit here on a high horse and say that you've had abortions during your marriage when you know this woman is going through a messy divorce. We can say, yes, well, Kelly put an accusation about Britt and doing pills, right? I just don't think it's the same. I just don't. Like, I just feel like hit it with something else. But that was such a gross moment. And I've had friends betray me in similar situations like that, where they told something where you're like, oh my God, I cannot believe you went there. I cannot believe of all the things you could say about me that you went there. And when in that very moment, as beautiful as Britt looked, I looked at her like the devil. It really bothered me. Like, I was like, oh my God, like, it seems like she has no bottom. There's no end to where she will go. She'll go as low as she needs to go for the moment. And I don't know if she's just extremely erratic. It gives unstable. It gives, there's no boundaries. There's no, I'm sure Kelly knows some other dirty things about Britt that's worse than pill popping that she could have said that she didn't. And to me, part of being a housewife and not a basketball wife, or housewife and not a loving hip hop girl, where they get a little bit more gutter with it, right? Is the ability to insinuate something where, bitch, you know what I'm talking about, and people can read between the lines, and you still stay elegant and classy about it. That's a good housewife to me. But when you just get gutter and filthy and dirty, listen, I got a lot of information on a lot of people that y'all say I hate that I've never said, that I still hold on to. And over an argument from Glam to telling about abortions, I just feel like the punishment did not fit the crime. I just felt it was way too fucking far. And Britt deserves like her ass whipped over that. If that was in my friend circle, like, that's like, there's no going back from something like that. You know, I'm going through a divorce and you're going to say I had abortions during my marriage. So are you saying I aborted my husband's kids, or that I got pregnant by somebody? What the fuck are you saying, ho? What are you saying? You know, I don't know. And the way Britt acts, she does act like a pill popper, because she's calm, then she's erratic. She makes these makes these erratic, angry faces. She's up, down, and she gives me very much, I don't know what I'm going to get. The way she responds to a level 2 crisis with a level 10 intent, to me, gives instability. And something's going on. I'm not saying she's a druggie, because I never seen her do them, but she got something going on in that brain of hers, because it's fucked. It's chopped and screwed. And I thought that was disgusting. It was gross, Britt. And you a real bird for that. That's bird bitch bum behavior. It was trash, and I didn't like it. And it took all the accolades, because you did look drop dead gorgeous and stunning on the show. But your soul is dark and ugly and fucked. And you are a terrible woman. You're not a girl's girl. I called it and I clocked it weeks ago. You're not a girl's girl. You don't have girlfriends. You could tell your own family don't really fuck with you. And that is not everybody being jealous because you're pretty. It's easy to be pretty. We all got fucking filters and hair dye and weaves and lashes, okay? It's not that rare to see somebody pretty. And the fact that you think all of your problems are because of your looks and not because of your inner, you need to work on that core. There's something going on there. There really is. And it was gutter. It was gutter. And then Kelly, Kelly did a low blow too. You can't have kids. I didn't like none of that shit. I thought it was terrible. I thought it was terrible.
You know what? It made me miss Kenya. It made me miss Kenya, because I felt like, and this is, whatever. I'm watching the show. I'm a viewer. This shit ain't personal to me. So watching that volley back and forth between Kelly and Britt, I was like, damn, I wish Kenya was there. My hope is that next year, because you want to talk about somebody skating, Phaedra actually skated these 5 episodes. She was unmatched when it came to, she didn't have any worthy opponent on this cast. Her and Portia, our friend Lee, on the show. I would love to see Kenya Moore be added to the cast next season. I would love to see her come back full time. I would love to see Nene come back. I'm just being a delusional fan right now, right, of the show. I would love to see Nene come back. To me, if you bring Nene and Kenya back next year, even if Nene's a friend, we got a show. We got a motherfucking show. So I don't know. It just made me miss Kenya. I think she would have added a lot to that event overall, to Phaedra's return, to all of that. You know what I'm saying? I would love to see them next season. That's all. Yeah. And one last thing, Los, and pay Candy $1 million an episode for 5, so she can come to Kenya's events, and we can finally get a sit down between her and Phaedra on that show. Pay Candy $1 million episode. Let her have 5 episodes, and we good. You know what I'm saying? That's all.
They gotta. I think they need to address some of the unresolved things and get some of the old girlies back. I think that would definitely, like maybe, I don't know. There's some worlds where that could actually happen, where you get them back. But I just think it's like such a letdown, like this season with Portia and Phaedra when they came back. Yes, they were missed by the fans, and they are fan favorites, right? But like ignoring the reason why they weren't there and then playing in our faces the whole season, like that, of course, it's gonna be a letdown. If we could like kind of get into some of that, I think that would have actually helped as well. I do.
Yeah, no, I agree. I know it's difficult, but I definitely think it's one of those things where you have to address the elephant in the room. Because one thing that I always wrestle with as a producer is, this is no secret. There's so much that goes on in production. Because again, for example, a lot of people think I make all the decisions, right? I'm always like, this ain't the Carlos King network. I don't pay talent out of my savings account. Everybody has a boss. And that's the thing that people don't understand. Everybody has a boss when you're on television. The top brass are the ones who make the final decisions, okay? Perfect example, when I got Claudia, I said, I want to be a housewife. They said, child, she got to work for this thing. And I'm like, I see potential in her. And then I didn't get my way, but I got some say, but I don't have the final say. I say all of that. I could not agree more. I do think the audience who are very special to this show, and this show is very special to the audience. I do think the lack of the one-on-one between Frick and Frack about what happened, even if it was a 7-minute conversation, I think the audience is too invested, too special. That Housewives of Atlanta, forget the rest of the cities in this moment. The Real Housewives of Atlanta audience are the most special human beings when it comes to the franchise because they care. They care about the show. They, even when they shade it, I know that they're shading it because they care about it. I do think it's unfortunate that the audience could not have gotten that. I agree with you too when it comes to that point. When it comes to Kelly and Britt, I agree with the both of you. Kelly and Britt, y'all were never friends. To have that level of falling out over Glam, I'm now with Claudia in the sense of, were y'all friends when y'all both were cast to be on the show? Because as much as I go at it with my friends, and we don't go at it like that, but let's say we have an argument, I'm never going to go to the depths of hell to embarrass you. Ever. Especially over Glam. We're arguing over hangers and dresses and shoes with tape at the bottom of the sole. Like, is that what we're doing? It to me, I thought they both were wrong. Now that I know this, I felt Kelly was wrong about when I thought she was talking about the husband. I'm like, what does he have to do with this conversation? Shade her. Now that I'm aware that she was actually calling Britt a pill popper, if Britt takes pills, there's certain things about reality stars that I just don't want to know. If that's what you do, I don't need to know those things. When it comes to whether or not Kelly had an abortion, and for the record, she said she did not. She said her tubes are tied. I don't want to know if my reality stars had an abortion unless they want to tell me that. 100%. Unless they want to tell me that. When Kimmy was diagnosed with breast cancer on Love and Marriage Huntsville, I told you guys this story already. It was so personal that I said to her, it's your choice to tell your story. If you want to quit and go through chemo and all of that on your own and not tell a soul, I'm a ride for you, sis. It was her choice to say, I want to talk about it and bring these women along my journey. Abortions and pill popping as shade to me is whack AF. I think it's disgusting and gross. Shade someone's folded up bob. Shade somebody's spaghetti straps. Shade some like I like shade that.
Wait, you ain't just about to give two of mine. Shade someone that can't pronounce bridesmaids. Shade someone that used to be on a pole. Shade someone who got brand new once they got a little check. Shade someone's lace front, but don't just, you ain't about to just do mine now, Carlos. Do mine.
Claudia, I love you, boo.
But I will say this: I see people in the comments. At first, I did think the same thing as Carlos. I thought the pill popper comment was about Britt's husband, so I was like, "Oh, that was so disgusting that Britt would respond with the abortion talk." But now that we know what we know, I think they were both wrong in that scene. They were both wrong. They took out, when they both brought like guns to knife fights, right? They both went too hard and used weapons of mass destruction on each other where they can never come back from that. To me, that means the stakes were never that high. You weren't really friends. Certain people, when you're really friends with someone, you're like, I'm not gonna, because you're like, I'm gonna fuck with you in 2 weeks. But right now, you might say a little shade, give her the light shade. Oh, that's why your heels is cracked and gray. I don't know, but not personal soul crushing stuff. And I will say, Kelly, exposing that your friend's a pill popper, although we can kind of already tell, that was foul to do in front of everybody. Allegedly. I'm just saying she's erratic. I never seen Brit do that. Let me protect the show. I never seen the girl do no drugs and like that. But she's erratic. But saying that, if you do have knowledge of that you got only because you were allowed to be close to her because you're friends, that is wrong. And Brit exposing someone may potentially have an abortion because you were friends with her and she confided in you, whether she did or she didn't, that was wrong. That was fucked up on both of them. They both were. They were both wrong, right?
Yeah.
But the Glam argument is like, damn.
Yeah, it was just that. Dustin, is there anyone to add to that before I move on to the next one?
No, we can get on to what we need to be discussing.
Okay. This Dustin, shut up. I don't know how to start this. I came into doing reality television because I did study journalism in college. And now
you're a journalist too.
Shut up, Claudia. I studied in college.
No, I'm feeling a little way because I shared my journalism journey with you, and now you're taking my journalism journey from me and you're running with it. And I feel like you're doing it better than me. So now I'm jealous.
It's okay. As long as you and I both don't share the same glam, we're good. But we can share the same journalism degree. Okay, because we're both journalists. Hey, Portia. Now, I will say this. I got to reality television because of my love for real people, real stories. I'm obsessed with real personal story. I do understand that there are certain shows that are fake, that are scripted, that don't show the reality. I don't want to see that on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't ever want to see this on the show. When I saw this person named Marcus come out of nowhere and say, I want to talk to you, Angela, about your husband, but I want it to be a one-on-one. And Angela, being the MVP of the season, paid in and said, ciao, bye. And then for Marcus to then, during a toast, say, and toast to Angela and her husband who's cheating on her, it was sort of like, who sent you? And it was, I'm going to say this. When I worked on the Real Housewives of Atlanta for years, and this is some real shit, I cannot tell y'all how many women came up to me while we were filming at these events, Dustin and Claudia. And they would say to me, because they knew I was the executive producer of the show, I've had so many women come up to me. Well, I'm messing with her husband. What? Like, who? First of all, who are you? And who's like, I move. That happened. I can't count on two hands how many times I had people come up to me when I was working about some tea they had on my girls, the housewives. And I was just like, I'm never going to be that producer that is going to be so lazy to tell that story. Now, I'm not saying a producer put Marcus up to, I'm not saying that. But I also will say this, and this is some real stuff. I've had some reality stars come up to me during my time as a showrunner and say, I got my friend gonna show up and because she or he got some tea about such and such. And I would be like, I'm not going to put a mic on a random person to do what we're paying you millions or thousands of hundreds of dollars to do. I'm not doing that. If you know this information and if that person in your car who you want me to mic has the information, then how about you go and tell them yourself? Be a boss. Be that girl. Tell them yourselves.
Yeah.
When I saw it happen, it made me so upset because I don't know who put him up to it. By no stretch of the imagination was that real. And when I say real, meaning that nobody knew in that room what was going on. I don't know if I don't know who we can get to that and sort of debate, but it was the laziest shit, and it made me disgusted with where reality TV is going to where that just got camera time. I hated it.
100% hated it. It felt completely disjointed. It felt like a abrupt jerk as a viewer. Like we were shaken by watching that shit, and not in a good way. First of all, if it ever was time to hold up a sign saying "Who is this?" You know what I'm saying? That's when the poster should have came up.
Claudia, that was your cue.
Who was?
Sorry, I just got a text that after Dustin goes, breaking news. Okay.
Well, let's go. What's the breaking news? If the news is breaking, we gonna break it.
One of the housewives texted me. Anonymous T. Brit offered several of the girls pills in Grenada, allegedly. I don't know why Phaedra lied and said it was just Advil PM. Had she shown up to the reunion, it would have been addressed. I said, oh my God, what kind of pills? Adderall, Xanax, Percocet, and Advil PMs. And Phaedra knows good and well that she offered us those pills. She poured them out of an Advil PM bottle like it was a bag of Skittles that she was offering us.
I personally don't care, but I understand what you're saying. I just don't give a fuck personally. We ain't see it on the show. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, this is where things get caught. Like, we're way off from center. You know what I'm saying? But per our earlier conversation, I understand why you're saying that. I just personally, I don't give a fuck about none of that.
Well, it's because the reaction, because Brit's justifying I said the abortion thing about you because you falsely accused me of being a pill popper when you were in fact offering pills to allegedly to several members of the cast, and there's other witnesses. Like if I'm getting emotional about something that I actually do, you have the right to call me on my bullshit. Like if I'm like, oh my God, Dustin, I cannot believe you cursed around me. You be like, bitch, you curse all the time. I would be full of shit, right? Like the reason why I treated you like that was because you came from me for cussing. You know what I mean? Like maybe just stay away from that argument. Like, all right, hey, bitch, chill. But anyways, there's more tea. But if I say the rest, I don't reveal who it is. I'll tell you.
No, I think it's like, listen, it's all alleged, and I think at this point it's one of those things like Dustin said. But no, go ahead, Dustin.
Yeah, I don't remember what the fuck I was gonna say.
I'm sorry, you guys. I have ADHD.
That's okay, you ain't got nothing to apologize for.
Adderall for my ADHD because I have attention.
It just was crazy. I just think that the young man that was on there, I know I saw a bunch of posts and shit earlier that people had shared that he had made. He was live tweeting the episode and stuff. He just wanted to be involved and have some attention shined on him. And I just think it's unfortunate that it was at his own detriment. You know what I mean? This goes back to Basketball Wives. It was a storyline like that. A guy called Jackie with some information one time. We back on Married to Medicine years ago. That gentleman came up and said something to Quad about Lisa, Nicole's husband. It's just a very elementary play. You know what I mean? Very old, we've seen it, heard it all before. And they had been doing so well from a production standpoint with kind of following and building a story that this interruption just came out of nowhere. Nobody believed what he said. And I just felt bad for him. It just looked down bad to me. Like, damn, bro, like that ain't even how you really need to be out here trying to do your thing, man. It's other ways. you can get attention without doing that. It just looked bad to me.
So you think that was a setup by like production, that guy being there?
And I think it was a setup by somebody, not production. Yeah. I think that seemed very lazy and elementary in a way that someone who hadn't thought things through kind of set that up. So I wouldn't even put that on production. That was from one of them cast members. It'll be interesting to find out who.
So I text 2 people today.
Yeah.
And the text that just came to me was not Drew. So stop putting it on Drew. It was definitely not Drew. I
you in the comments, they putting it was Drew.
Yeah. It wasn't Drew. I have to defend my cousin Drew now. Yeah, I ain't gonna come to my cousin Drew. So I talked to someone else today about it, and you know, it was revealed. Well, I think Angela said on this episode, right, that somebody said that they were paid to go do it. Because I thought that was fake too. I'm like, was that production that planted that person there? How'd they get in? And then they, you know, oh, well, it was an open event to the public. No, it's never really open event to the public when you're filming, because there's release forms that have to be signed from everyone that's in there. Like everyone knows. So they said that one of the housewives paid him to be there, and it's not who we think it is.
I believe it. I believe that. 100%.
Well, that's the thing. I'm looking forward to the finale, because obviously all will be revealed. The main thing for me, though, is somebody in that room set this guy up to do it, because
whoever it was don't need to be there no more.
It's not what I want to see, and it's just not something that I think is necessary. If you have information about one of your castmates and you feel strongly about whatever, then say it. Like, look, at the end of the day, I felt Britt and Kelly were both wrong for the shade, but at least they both said it to each other and didn't send someone else in to do their job. Right. And that's the part to me that just feels so gross in terms of like where we are with things, because that to me was just super unnecessary. And I just didn't like it. And it's funny because Dustin's right. I thought about those 2 moments, Dustin, that you mentioned in terms of the other shows that had a random person come in, and it's the laziest of lazy, and
never ends well. Never ends well for that person either. You know what I mean? Because people are now going to be looking at the person and picking them apart. You know what I'm saying? In ways that maybe deserve, but like, why would you even put yourself in that position? Why? Like, it's just nothing positive that could come from that. So it felt stupid as fuck to me, and it interrupted what had been an otherwise really enjoyable season for me.
From my deductions, I've been trying with different angles with a couple of the girls I've talked to. It really was. I first, of course, you know, I thought it was Britt at first. It wasn't Britt. I'm clearing her name right now. And it was not Portia. The people that y'all say I come for the most, I'm clearing their name on this issue. Right? It was neither one of those 2 that set this person, invited this person. Do you think this kind of feels more of like, would a vet do this? I don't know. Do vets do this, Carlos? Or do you think that's a rookie mistake? What would you think?
I think it's anybody. Listen, when people want a moment, it doesn't matter your status on the show. I think it's just people who just want a moment. They not maybe for themselves, but it's the opportunity to embarrass somebody. It's an opportunity to take the heat off of them, possibly there's so many reasons, but yeah, it doesn't matter if you're a rookie or a vet. People do things because they feel like there's something that needs to happen. And that's why for me, I'm looking forward to the finale, because I'm so curious about what will happen with that.
I definitely want to know. Remember the cookie lady?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing. It never ends well for those people. So,
and I will say, condolences to Portia and her family, losing Londi like that. And then, you know, that's got to be tough, like losing. And I remember her from the show, like she was on the spinoff. Wasn't she on the spinoff?
Yeah, Portia's Family Matters. She was heavily involved.
Got to be tough. So rest in peace. And
yes, rest in peace, Londi.
For sure.
I will say Angela handled that moment really, really well. Like, it seems like people want her to pop off, and she doesn't usually take the bait, because she could have easily gone, wait, what? She could have gone to the side, given him a moment. She has a very high emotional intelligence for reality, I believe, because she could have easily, my curious self would have probably made the mistake of being like, wait, who he cheating on? Come off to the side and take this mic. What happened? But she didn't give it anything. She knew that it would elevate. It would be a force multiplier for him. And she didn't. I just feel like she just really, she just gives experience, you know?
No, she's dope. She's dope. So no, I really enjoyed this episode. I really enjoyed it. I know it was hard on the episode last week with Grenada.
Well, they was mad. They was mad at you for that. They was mad at.
I know they were so mad at me about that, which is fine. You know, listen.
Like y'all want drama? We like.
And it wasn't about drama. That's why I said it was more so about like I like Tris when you could get something iconic out of it, but you know people don't like to listen, child. I said iconic moments, whether it's emotional moments, an iconic read, something iconic. It wasn't about drama, but that's neither here nor there. So wait, there's a few super chats that I want to get to before I let you guys go. So I want to make sure we read everything. You know, we thought you was Marcus. You thought who was Marcus? Me or Dustin? One of us?
I know they ain't think that was me. You a motherfucking lie if you thought that was me.
No,
not like that. I'm just saying you definitely didn't mistake that behavior for me. Oh, thank you, T. Ashley.
Congrats, Dustin. Keep on winning. We love that. We got this from Casey. Britt telling millions of people about a woman having an abortion without her consent. It was worse than Kenya showing a sexual picture of her without her consent. Okay. We got one. Aubrey. Oh, we said that one. We read that one already. But thank you so much again, Juan. Kiki Shamia was lame for sharing a text. A message. Glad P did not give her any words for it.
She handled that well too. She handled that. I think she handled that well. Portia could have gave her. Didn't. Something positive.
Britt always eat and Kelly is jealous, according to T. Ashley. Isis Cobb said Kelly Stylist has already said Britt is his muse. That should tell you all that you need to know. Sorry, Kelly, but I would want to work with Britt too. Oh shit. Okay.
Outfits be changing people's perception because the entire season people knew like the shady things that Britt was saying. It was all about her negative stuff that she was doing on the show. And a few good looks make people change their mind about who they like. That happens a lot on reality TV. A lot.
No. Leah said, when you know who you are, no woman can bother you. T. Ashley, Dustin just got the nail on the head.
Thank you, love.
Leah, I get alliances that they take for friendships. We got Tree. What Britt do to Claudia? Claudia, is she mad? I love Dustin's comment. I don't hate watch. Britt had a testing season as well. Kelly is fake. Okay.
We're talking about it's commentary on the show, people. What do you want me to say? Lie?
She don't even give a fuck.
I don't. I ain't watched the show in 10 years. I watched it this season because Carlos and Dustin asked me to be, and I am. You want me to just sit here and say I like everybody or that just talk about our clothes? I'm not ever gonna do that. I'm fucking honest, y'all. That's it.
I love you, honey. That's why we love you.
I'm just signing this panel. Shit.
Casey said Britt is dangerous. She carries on. She's Lord.
Why don't you read that super chat?
No, I'll read it. Claudia, you look fab, but your face crack has always been 100. Britt's infamous gold bathing suit and my brand Nikki Beach Swim.
Yeah, she looked good in it. Congratulations, Nikki.
Yes.
Plug.
Dope. Congratulations.
Kenya and Cam have the best articulate reads.
It's
a lot of super chats today.
I agree 100%. But yes.
That guy looked comfortable cheering next to Kelly.
I don't know who they're talking about.
I think Marcus. Charles was on Watch What Happens live show. He's above all the nonsense.
He did. I watched it and Charles was on there and he gave Angela her props and he was loving to her. So that was good to see. They want
to make it seem like they got he has dry sense of humor. I get it. But he's been on a lot of the episodes. So that y'all
he's great.
People trying to say he don't rock with her or love her. He sure does show up for his wife a lot when she needs it. Without a check, might I add. That's I don't know.
Rika Kim Lee said, Watch What Happens Live. Angela said we will find out who sent the guy on next week's episode.
She did say that.
Can't wait to see that. I think that's everybody. So
T. Jerome, Carlos.
Who?
T. Jerome says Andy needs to give you three a segment at BravoCon. You know I'm always trying to get a job because I'm so poor.
I didn't see that one.
Well, I can always work. So,
I
don't give a damn. Bring it on. Okay.
No. So, but thank you, Claudia and Dustin to the Raindrops. Over 5,000 people joined in tonight's live.
Hell yeah.
Now,
that's
tomorrow,
cute.
I am dropping an exclusive interview.
Yes. You gonna give us a hint?
She's
a good
an
one
Atlanta.
Too.
She's an Atlanta housewife.
A current one or from the past?
She's a current one.
Is it Brit?
You just have to wait and see.
Portia?
Oh, I think it's either Brit or Portia, but we don't see.
So tomorrow, Raindrops, I'm dropping my one-on-one exclusive with a current housewife of Atlanta. So make sure you guys tune in for that. And I want to read the results of the poll that I had on Twitter about whose side y'all on, Britt or Kelly. And the winner is, can y'all guess?
Kelly won.
I think Britt. Oh, okay.
Kelly won by 69%. It was over 200 votes in an hour.
Do y'all agree with that?
There we have it.
Okay.
There we have it. All right. So tomorrow, tune in and we will see y'all again next week. Thank you, guys. Love you, Raindrops.
I hope your assistant calls me back.